Turn my mic on there. Good evening. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. And we have an update for you regarding to the next storm chance up in this active wintry pattern. Once again, we mentioned not only in our winter cast that we did all the way back in November, but we've mentioned it several times throughout the last couple of weeks that the pattern from early January to, even toward Valentine's Day, it remains, the window's open. The window's open. So the next step in that pattern will be Friday. I'm not going to go into super crazy specifics on this broadcast, but I will give you a general outlook of just kind of where we are standing right now and what we're looking for moving forward, kind of like we did last week with the last system that we've had. Of course, we'll give it about 45 seconds before we start diving into the information. So as always, you guys should know by now, share the broadcast. At the bottom portion of your screen, there will be a share button. You can share this video on your news feed so that way your friends and family can view it and get up to date on what to expect. Also helps us with our growth as well. So thank you very much for your help with that. We appreciate everyone that's been doing that this past week and beyond, of course. Thank you for your incredible help. Let me greet some people that are coming in here. Greg, Julia, Shelly again, but spelled a different way. It's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing the broadcast. We appreciate you. I appreciate all the shares and likes that we're seeing come across the screen, both on YouTube and Facebook tonight, as always. Jennifer, Kim, Jacob, thank you for your shares as well. Becky, hello, how are you? Roberta with the 100 stars, thank you very much. Hi, George, I thought you were going to rest tonight. Tammy, I ended up getting, about a quick shout out to my wife who's been incredible and let me sleep in today. I slept a full 12 hours today. So I'm feeling good. We're good. We're good to go. Time to start moving on to the next one. Unfortunately, when you got patterns like this, there's no rest for the weary. Cheap Shot says hello, George on YouTube. Hello, how are you doing? Auburn, hello. We'll give it about 20 more seconds until we start diving into the information. So if you're just now tuning into the broadcast, don't worry, you have not missed a thing. We are discussing our next snow chance for Friday. Will likely end up being a winter storm for some folks in Kentucky. I'll explain where our current thinking is with that. Again, coming up here in probably 20-30 seconds. Shannon, Tammy, Mike, Linda, Kristen, Jennifer on Facebook, thank you for sharing the broadcast. We appreciate you. Caitlin, hello, says, how's the baby doing? He's doing great, just went to bed. Diamond, hello, how are you doing on YouTube? Darby, Corey. Corey says Mark Weinberg is intimidated by you. I doubt it. I'm not going to get in all that. The thing with that is a lot of these folks that are in big media like that, if they split off and did what I did, they'd probably be 3 times my size. But no, I'm not getting in all that. But the baby's getting big now. Oh my goodness, he's built like his daddy, that's for sure. Sandra, hello from Livermore. Gail, hello from Winchester. Garrett, hello from Beaver Dam. Eric, hello from Somerset. Lisa says she just got her power back on today. She's not prepared for anything else. The good news is, guys, with this next system that we do see coming up, once again, if you're just not tuning in here, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. You have not missed a thing. We're just now going to get started on diving into the information. The good news is, with this next one up, we do not see any chances of any ice. Okay, the cold air is completely in place now. The reason we saw the ice with this last system is because we had the cold air at the surface, but we also knew we had warm air moving in above our heads. This system, yes, there will be warm air moving north, but the low pressure is so much further south. It's not up into the Tennessee and western Kentucky like we saw with the last system. It's so much further south that the warm air likely will not even come close to up here. Matter of fact, it might not barely even touch Tennessee. Just put that out there. Okay. Let's go to our main screen here. Let's start getting into some of this information. So once again, if you have lived under a rock or whatever may have you, we do have our next storm chance coming up Friday. Again, we're in the middle of a the window's just opening for a pretty active winter. The last 5 or 6 winters in Kentucky, for most people, with the exception of Eastern Kentucky, for most people, has been pretty boring. Now, once again, Eastern Kentucky has seen a lot of activity the last few winters. I want to make that very clear. Someone last night got mad at me that I didn't make Eastern Kentucky's trials and tribulations the last few winters clear enough. We know Eastern Kentucky got hit quite a bit the last few winters. When I say majority of counties, I'm talking about obviously the counties that did not get hit. All right, so I want to make that clear. So I know you can't please everyone on the internet, but some people really surprise me. But anyway, so what I want to start here with is the European model. I think it's handling this event pretty well. GFS models is kind of bouncing back and forth. The early runs of the North American model that we're seeing is looking more and more like the European model itself. Also, if you are a model watcher, just know that these 18Z runs, like for example, we have these runs. Let me go to the full screen real quickly. If you are a model watcher, there are different times that these models run in. So you always kind of want to stick with the 0Z and 12Z. The in-between runs, the 6Z and the 18Z, those runs tend to use more guessing metrics, whereas the 0Z and 12Z use more actual data. So just like a pro tip there for you guys. But anyway, so we're going to look at the European model run that came in earlier this afternoon. I just want to kind of show you the scope of this one. This one also, as with almost every winter forecast in Kentucky, when you're talking about big wintertime systems, this was not an easy one to forecast. And you'll see what I mean by this. I'm going to advance this on forward. We're going to go to about 45 to 50 hours out here. And I want you to note this low pressure up here and how this is extending all the way to this low pressure down here. All right? Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, you can. Okay, so we got a low up here in Canada, a low over here in the midwestern portions of the country, and then we're going to have this absolute mess start to get created down here in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to advance this on forward, and you'll see how all of these try to connect, and that's where things get a little bit hairy. This is going to come down to, it's technically called a phase of two lows, okay? And all that this is going to come down to, for us in Kentucky in particular, for other places, it's not going to come down to this, but for us in Kentucky in particular, it's going to come down to a couple of things. How fast the two low pressures phase their energy together, and where exactly that phase occurs, and how much moisture is going to be at play because of the phase. We do know that at some point in this event, there will be a dry slot. Anytime you get two systems of phase together, there will be a dry slot. People always, forecasters and everything, always tend to forget about that. We do know that when you're dealing with the polar air and trying to phase up with the Gulf of Mexico low pressure, there is going to be a dry slot. This is why some people in Central Kentucky with this last event saw a little bit less than other people and are wondering what in the heck is everyone talking about. Well, you got dry slotted. It happens. It happens all the time with phase systems. All right. Advance this on forward. I just want to kind of show you once again, low pressure will start to pop up over Michigan, and this low pressure down here in the Gulf of Mexico, once again, trying to connect. Almost looks like lake effect snow, but not necessarily the case. It just looks like it. So advancing this on forward, you'll see the low pressure up there, low pressure down here in the Gulf, and it's just a full-on snowstorm for basically thousands of miles from the north to the south here. And the snow could even reach as far south as northern Alabama, northern Georgia, to the Carolinas, northern Mississippi, so on and so forth. I mean, this could be a full-on snowstorm for thousands of miles. And then eventually those two low pressures will scoot off to the eastern portions out toward the ocean, try to get together and get stronger, and then move off completely out of our area. So what I want to do now is just zoom into the regional view here and just kind of show you what's happened regionally, and then we'll go to the local view and kind of show you what's happening on the local view. All right? Advancing this forward, so the timing does look to be pretty consistent on all models. Now, other models have a little bit more snow or a little bit less snow or different, just a little different details, but the timing looks to be pretty consistent across all models for the start time to be sometime on Friday morning. All right, so for those of you that are asking about start times and what that may look like, it's looking like the early hours of Friday morning, maybe close to the lunchtime time frame, depending upon where you're at in Kentucky. Oops, there we go. So once again, as usual with all of our systems, it starts in Western Kentucky, eventually moves its way through to Central and Eastern. All right, advancing this forward, this is valid for Friday at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. It does look like it's entering the Western Kentucky portion of the area at that point. And then by the, let's say, 2 to 3 p.m. time frame, approaching the I-65 corridor. And then by the evening time frame, it's a full-on light to moderate snow throughout portions of Kentucky. It tries to throw some heavier snow bands up here in northern Kentucky. I don't think this is going to be this far north. I think, if anything, over the next 48 hours, what we'll start to see is some of this shift a little bit more south. The reason for that is these pressures, and when you're talking about these phasing systems, again, it comes down to the phase, at what time they phase, so on and so forth. The trend over today has been to push the system a little bit further south, and I agree with that. Again, when you're dealing with these types of systems, we just had a low pressure, right? With our last system on Sunday, Monday, that just tracked through Arkansas up to western Tennessee, up to western Kentucky, through to about the Louisville area, and then it drifted off to the east there and just kind of jetted out through like Pikeville, Kentucky, Ashley, Kentucky, and then up toward the Virginias, right? So we know that when that typically happens, right, the next low pressure to come behind it, if it's within a certain period of time, tends to go well south. And that's the case here. Again, we have that low pressure. It'll push up through the Carolinas and out toward the Atlantic Ocean, and then out toward, again, the Atlantic Ocean. I'm just repeating myself there. But again, you can see it's well south. Remember, the low pressure that we dealt with on Sunday was well up here in Kentucky. So it's well south by about, maybe 300-400 miles there. And that's pretty much on par with how these systems usually go. It's a domino effect. This is what we explained to you guys back on January 2nd when you were asking about what's going to happen on Friday and so on and so forth. We said we had to wait and see what happened with our last system, let that information get into the models, and then we can start getting a little bit of a better idea. Which is why I think by tomorrow night we'll have a pretty solid idea on what to expect. I really wanted to go live tonight because we have been just absolutely blown up with questions, and I totally get it. But I want to reiterate, this system does not look like anything like we just witnessed on Sunday and Monday. We don't see any ice with this. You saw it for yourself there. We don't even see any sleet with this. This is a pure snowfall. All right, and then it's not as long lasting either. It lasts about 16 to 18 hours. All right, and then it's out of Kentucky by early on Saturday. So here are the totals from this model. This is not our forecast. I'm gonna make that very clear. But since we have model pictures and stuff floating around the internet anyway, I just want to make it. Yeah, I just want to point out some stuff here. So here are the ice totals from this event. Once again, nothing for Kentucky, nothing for Tennessee, some light icing, nothing like what we saw on Sunday, Monday for the Carolinas out toward the Georgia area. All right, that is the ice total. So again, no ice expected with this. So we could take a sigh of relief from that one. As for snowfall, I'm going to use the Kuchera because, again, when this snowfall occurs, we'll be in about the mid-20s. Maybe some folks toward the Kentucky-Tennessee border up to the upper 20s. But everyone will be below freezing as this snowfall. So I think it's better to use this snowfall metric rather than the 10-to-1 ratio. All right. So here's a snowfall total from this. If this does occur this way, and I'll zoom this into local view so you can actually see it a little bit better here. Now, again, this is not our forecast. This is a model run. All right. I'll show you what our forecast is here in just a moment. All right. Here's how this European model expects us to depict out. Basically, 4 to 6 inches for everyone in the state. That is technically a winter storm. A winter storm warning can be issued for anything expected to be greater than or equal to 4 inches. All right. So again, this would absolutely qualify almost every single one of our 120 counties across the state as a winter storm. Do I think everyone ends up with 4 to 6 inches out of this? I do not. I'll show you our forecast here in just 1 second. But before I get to that, I got to pay the bills here. Thank our sponsors. Without them, we're not able to be here for you 24/7 like we were on this past event and for this upcoming event. So real quickly, I got a video for you from Right Implement and then some more messages from our other sponsors here in just one moment.
I enjoy seeing things grow. It's a fun process to be able to put a seed in the ground and seeing what comes from it. We always enjoy going to Wrights because they're always very helpful, and when we're in a need, they always get it done for us.
You know, if we break down the field, I make a call to Right Implement, and they always have someone out within a reasonable amount of time. I've been working with Right Implement for several years and wouldn't recommend any other dealership.
Thank you so much, Right Implement. By the way, we're coming up on 2 years with Right Implement here very soon. Really cool stuff with them. Phenomenal partner. Thank you for your support of what we do here and allowing us to be here for all these Kentuckians. As well as FBI Buildings. They have over half a century of experience in renovating, remodeling, and rebuilding any residential and commercial building. They can also work on your pole barns and stuff like that as well. If any disaster hits with any of these winter storms or anything that may be coming up in the spring, make sure you go to FBIbuildings.com for a free quote. Once again, thank you for your support of what we do at Weather Now Kentucky. Of course, you guys know about WeatherWise, the radar that we use. WeatherWise is a incredible sponsor there as well. I'm going to kind of pull us back up. This is the radar that we use. It's via WeatherWise. You can download their radar at weatherwise.app. It also has outlooks. For example, here is the Climate Prediction Center's temperature outlook for the next 6 to 10 days. You can see it's well below average in Kentucky. The cold air is locked in, guys. For 8 to 14 days out, it's still well below average in Kentucky. So really cool stuff by WeatherWise. They not only have the radar there, but several different outlooks from several different regions of the Climate Prediction Center or Weather Prediction Center or Storm Prediction Center, so on and so forth from our National Weather Service. So phenomenal stuff there from WeatherWise. And finally, Digital Solutions in Radcliffe, Kentucky is a family-owned tech shop. Be sure to repair or purchase any device from them and keep the business local, guys. Thank you to Kayla and her team for supporting W&K. We appreciate them for always working on all of our technology and providing us with some last-minute stuff, as always, with them. Thank you so much to them. All right, that is the messages from our sponsors. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors for allowing us to be here 24/7 for you guys. Without them, I know you guys hate to hear the technical ads, but without them, truly, guys, we're not here. We're not here, right? So thank you to them. I appreciate them so much and allowing us to be here. And hopefully you guys heard something like that and would support one of the sponsors that supports us. So I want to say thank you to them. Aaron's in here from Right Implement. Thank you so much, Aaron. Brad, how you doing, my friend? Get to some of your questions now. At this point, I'll also pull up our forecast for you. Again, nothing really has changed here. I am like hitting all the wrong buttons today, so maybe I didn't get enough sleep. I don't know. But we're going with the confidence map for today. Aaron, thank you for your 1,000 stars. I appreciate you, friend. And Hunter with the 15 stars. Thank you so much. Here's our forecast that we posted earlier. Tomorrow we'll probably put actual numbers on these, an actual snowfall forecast. The first map I always like to do, like we did with the last event and every winter event, is a confidence map. As you can see, our highest confidence absolutely exists in southern Kentucky. Again, usually with these events that you see back to back in the winter like this, they usually go to places that have not been hit or were missed by the last event. So if you got missed by the last event, odds are, historically, that you are going to get hit by this event. All right. Confidence, by the way, read there, please. Confidence in at least 2 inches of snow accumulation. All right. So 85% in that blue area, 65% in that green or teal, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not Bob Ross here. 45% in that yellow or khaki, whatever it is up there. All right. And that means that's our confidence in you seeing at least 2 inches in whatever those zones are. I do expect that for a lot of Kentucky, we'll be going over 2 inches, but the bar is probably 2 inches. I do think that, for example, places like Hopkinsville, Bowling Green, Somerset, Harlan, from what I've seen today, could be a 3 to 5 inch zone. Places north of that, between the parkways and the 64 corridor, could be a 2 to 4 inch zone. And the places to the far portions of northern Kentucky, Florence, Owenton, who ended up seeing the bigger snowfalls that we saw in our last event, could be a 1 to 3 inch zone. Could those numbers go up? Absolutely they can. It all depends on, once again, how fast the phasing occurs, where that phasing occurs at, and how far north the moisture is allowed to ride because of that phasing. Again, all of it plays, as you're going to hear throughout the entire wintertime. All of it depends on the track, the strength, the phase, all that good stuff of the big L's that you see on your screen. So these red L's I'm going to show you. Coming back out here. Pull us out to the national view. These big L's that you see on your screen, they're ever so important. They're your low pressures. They're the reason that we see storms. They're the reason that we see snow activity, so on and so forth. So how those things track, how strong they are, where they phase at, so on and so forth. It is absolutely crucial what we do here. I'll get to some of your questions now at this point. Pull up the map a little bit. Not going to answer a whole lot because this is just like a general outlook video, just kind of showing you where we're at now, what we're looking forward to the next 24 to 36 hours when it comes to model data, so on and so forth. Jana on YouTube says, appreciate you in Fulton, Kentucky. Thank you so much. Cheap Shot on YouTube says, you were spot on for the last forecast. I shoveled for 2.5 hours. Cheap Shot, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Jules on YouTube says Filet-O-Fish extra tartar with a fish and a fry emoji. Is this going to be the joke? Is this going to be the running joke for the next 6 months? Man, guys, listen. I like a good fish sandwich. I like a good fish sandwich. Betsy, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate that so much. Beatrix with the 100 stars says thank you for the preliminary update. I appreciate your hard work. PN on YouTube says thank you. I think I missed some stars as well. Yeah, Corey and Jose with their star donations. Thank you so much. Jose with a second donation and Gretchen with another donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your all-star donations the last few days. Thank you for all the likes and shares on both the broadcasts on YouTube and Facebook. We have set absolute records this past week with YouTube viewership, with YouTube subscribers, with Facebook viewership, with Facebook followers. We've gained 5,000 followers on Facebook in the last 4 days. Can you guys believe that? You would have told George from a few years ago, I would have slapped you and told you to hush it. There's no way. But you guys have been phenomenal. You guys have been phenomenal. Danette for subscribing on Facebook. Thank you for that extra level of support there. I appreciate that. Kilm on Facebook says I've been following you for 3 years and recommend you to everyone. Thank you so much for all you do and your team. Thank you, Kilm. I appreciate that. Snowman, please. So I did see a question on whether this is going to be a wet snow or a dry snow. Usually with the Gulf snows, you do see more of your wet snows. We'll have to wait until close range models get in. I can look upper layers of the atmosphere. That will tell us how cold it is. How cold or dry it is in the upper layers of the atmosphere depends. What's the word I'm looking for here? My brain's been skipping a lot lately. It determines, thank you, oh my goodness. It determines how big or small or how wet or dry our snowflakes are. So let me get some close range model data in, and I'll tell you in a couple of days on what kind of snowfall to expect. Jana with a $2 super chat on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Gregory, I appreciate your compliment on Facebook as well as Anton. I'm sorry, I'm probably messing up your name. Thank you for that. Gail says, word is getting around that you're the best. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is going to be a snow I can drive my Toyota Corolla in. Shane, oh my goodness. So we're just getting some jokesters tonight, huh? We're just getting some jokesters tonight, huh? Do we know time frames yet? Yeah, Stephanie, I do believe it's going to be Friday morning to late on Friday, maybe early Saturday morning. So mainly a Friday event. Lacey, thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Are power outages still a risk with this upcoming storm since nothing has melted yet? Tiffany, not really. The snowfall shouldn't add to any power outage risk, right? Because the snowfall is going to be able to just fall right on through to the ground. So we do not see any freezing rain. We do not see any sleet risk with this upcoming storm. This next storm is more of your classic, like, borderline winter storm in Kentucky. Basically around 2 to 5 inches of snowfall for most folks, somewhere within that range. Hoping to be able to put numbers and ranges on these maps tomorrow for you guys. We'll see it. We'll see how the data is looking. I got stuck behind the camera that kept sliding all over the place. It made me feel. Yeah, it's always the Toyotas. It's always the Toyotas. That's why and it's always the Nissans for me too. What are the Nissan cars that everyone drives that people make jokes about for everyone driving recklessly in them? It's not is it the Altima? Whatever the car is, it's always the Toyota Corollas and the Nissan Altimas like me. Casey, hello. Thank you for your 15 stars. Susan, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate that. Yeah, right now, Amy, throwing amounts out there at this point is completely reckless and irresponsible because the model data has not been fully sampled, or the storm has not been fully sampled for the model data to ingest. So that's why we haven't put amounts up there yet. I think most will end up in a 2 to 5 inch range. But right now, putting amounts out there with any sort of confidence is probably just premature. Angelica, thank you for 20 stars. I appreciate you. Or Altima, yeah. Nissan Sentra. Again, Kara, we do expect this to enter for most of Kentucky by late Friday morning and be exiting most of Kentucky by late Friday night to early morning hours on Saturday. All right, I think we're good at this point. I didn't want this to be a very long broadcast. More so just kind of telling you, hey, guys, we do see this. We are tracking it because we've had several hundreds of questions on whether it's DMs or comments about this event. I just want you guys to know, yes, we are tracking it. Yes, we do see it. No, we are not ready to really forecast it yet. We will be tomorrow because, once again, we want to be a little responsible. We want to wait for better model data to get in. Is that saying the model data right now is inaccurate? No, it's just saying it has less odds of being accurate. So we want to make sure we're allowing folks. Chuck with the 500 stars. Wow, thank you for your kindness. I appreciate you. But we just wanted to allow it some more time in the oven before we talk about it a little bit. But just want to let you guys know, yes, we do see it. Yes, we've seen it for like 2 weeks now. But we haven't really talked about it too much because we want to let the gods do what they're going to do, right? Let Mother Nature do what she's going to do. Let this stuff get on the land first. Let it get sampled, and then we'll see where we're at there. All right. So with that said, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to you guys for tuning in all the time. We appreciate you. All the shares, the likes, everything you guys have done, all the new followers and subscribers. The last few days have been absolutely insane. We appreciate all of your love and support. Until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.